We have Alaska-Anchorage entering the podium. If you guys can please clear the interview area so we can get started. Obviously, please stick around for the press conference if you'd prefer. Joining us on the dais now from Alaska-Anchorage, we have head coach Ryan McCarthy, student athletes Megan Mullings, Jenna Buchanan, and Kiana Engel. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach McCarthy, and then we'll take questions for anyone on the dais.
Well, we're very excited to be here, to be able to play on this stage, with the Division I and Division III teams here, and just a celebration of women's basketball on the biggest stage. So, I know for our ladies, we haven't been treated like this ever, and so just a special opportunity and a special experience for our program, and to be able to represent the state of Alaska. We know who we're playing for, and we take great pride in that.
We'll start right here with a question.
Creighton Raps from Hero Sports. So, a question for Jenna. I know Coach talked about about Galena, and talk to us about the differences adapting from village ball to Division II college basketball.
Yeah, it was pretty different. My freshman year, I was lucky enough to get a lot of playing time, so I was able to kind of adapt a lot easier in that sense, and so it's gotten easier over the years for sure.
Question down here in the front.
Coach, can you talk about what it's like to recruit up in Alaska and how you get players the quality to compete for a national championship?
We're fortunate to be in a state where it doesn't get a lot of exposure, so usually, unless it's like a Pac-12 level player, we get first dibs, at least to pitch them, to stay in state. And a lot of student athletes up there want to get out. And so, we pitch really hard just to represent your home state. And recruiting, I think I might have the best stories of any coach in the country, because a lot of the places where, I have to go in state, there's no road to get there. And you're either taking a boat up the Yukon River, or a ferry down to Kodiak, or flying in a bush plane to get to where like Jenna lives. I've done clinics up in Point Hope where it's 3 o'clock in the morning and kids are still jumping on trampolines out on dirt roads, and riding an ATV from their runway, which they call an airport, to the gym. So, locally that's what it's like, and to be able to recruit, kids from warm weather like Megan and Kiki from Honolulu, and some of those warm weather states, just pitching them the fact that people care. We're in, not many Division II schools get the attendance that we get. This is normal for us. Every Tuesday we're in a press conference. If I sign someone for our program, it's going to be on the front page of the Anchorage Daily News, or the Alaska Dispatch News, I think is what it's called now. But their life is in a fishbowl, and if they want to matter and they want people to care, Alaska is definitely a place where they get to play on that stage.
Question down here.
I know we've talked about this a little bit, but taking this team over 4 years ago in the state that it was in, being here, is this what you imagined 4 years later?
Nope. It was a mess when I got there. I was the third choice. When it opened up the first time, I applied for it, and at the time I was 29 years old and had 1 year of head coaching experience, which we were 14 and 13, and I coached 7 freshmen at a school with 6 scholarships in Nampa, Idaho. And I didn't know the severity of the NCAA violations. I didn't know we were that close to the death penalty. as far as all that goes. And, I was really fortunate to inherit, players like Jenna Buchanan and Jessica Madison who just bought in right away and have a group that we were able to pull off a winning season with 17-10 and had to go get 2 intramural players so we could practice 5-on-5. So looking back, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that was a mess. But at the time, I embraced it. I was 29 and I was a head coach, so I was floating. And I was at a school that I grew up watching. I grew up watching the Great Alaska Shootout. Always wanted to be a Seawolf my whole life, and it was just an opportunity. I mean, the reason I chose my school to play because UAA didn't recruit me and I wanted to beat them, and so it was a great opportunity for me to come back and to be able to represent Alaska and raise my kids there, and it just real blessed.
Question right here.
Don Williams from the Lubbock Avalanche Journal. For anyone on the stage, can you explain where the mayhem idea came from, and also notice that virtually everyone on your roster plays double-digit minutes a game? Looks like I assume the philosophy is kind of come at them in waves.
Yeah, it wasn't always mayhem. I think the first year there was less of that. It was kind of grinded out basketball, but that it kind of developed over time. We, our philosophy is to relentlessly attack our opponents on the offense and defensive end, and that is in a press. We fall back into a defense called the amoeba defense that Jerry Tarkanian made pretty famous at UNLV. There's no secrets to what we do. We're not going to change anything for this game or anything like that, but we come at them in ways, and our philosophy is you have to play as hard as you possibly can. And we're in a situation where we do have 12 players that can play. They can play basketball. Our 12th player, the person that gets the least amount of minutes, is a transfer from Penn State, who won 2 national championships at Trinity Valley. So I think most importantly, we have some winners on our team, but who working hard isn't anything new. And we get to work every day in a facility that's really easy to work hard in. Just to be able to compete like that, I think it takes a lot out of you, and you can only go 3 or 4 minutes at a time like that.
Question in the front here.
So for each of the players, the coach was mentioning that it's kind of like living in a fishbowl with all the attention you guys get in Anchorage. Can you talk, each of you, about why you chose to play at Alaska and what is unique about it, living and playing up there?
Can you start that, Megan?
I guess that I chose to come to Alaska because I was told that I would make a difference. There's going to be little girls and even little boys who come to our games, and they know who we are and they know our names, and they get really excited when they see you like out at Fred Meyer or at the gas station or whatever. So it's kind of weird being in that fishbowl because everyone does know who you are, but it's such a unique and rare opportunity to really have like a very strong positive influence on these kids.
Well, I chose to play at Anchorage because I'm from Alaska and I take great pride in being an Alaskan, and I just thought it was really cool to be able to play at a school and represent, a whole state.
I chose to come back home and play because Alaska is a basketball community. Like, they really support basketball, men and women, and it's an honor to be home because I'm proud to be that I'm from there.
Question right here.
Obviously, with 38 wins, y'all handled it okay, but what is the travel like? Because it looks like even in conference, looks like there are very few, if any, other close games.
Yeah, I mean, our conference for our level, I think, is pretty extreme travel. I'm not sure. Maybe other than the Pac West that's in our region, they go to Hawaii. But we went to Hawaii too, so I don't think anyone travels like us. But it's something that you have to stay disciplined with. We always have a pretty detailed itinerary. Have rules that they have to finish a water bottle by the time they get off the plane. Even for this, we were waking them up early during the week to get them used to the Eastern time zone because it's a 4-hour difference for us. And so, it is tough. And going into little towns like Billings, Montana, and Monmouth, Oregon, and places like that, you can't just fly in there. You got a little bit of travel after that too. So I think just staying disciplined and embracing embracing who we are. You know, I think we're one of those teams you either love us or hate us, and so we definitely like that role.
Question right here.
It's for Megan. During the start of the season, you were on a GNAC podcast. You were talking about your experience that your goal is to be a teacher in Alaska. For the benefit of those of us maybe not familiar with that part of the story, could you go into a little bit more detail on that?
Gosh, that was a really long time ago. Yeah, I'm currently majoring in English, and originally the plan was for me to be a secondary education teacher. And when asked where I would like to teach, I wasn't really sure at first. And like I said, living in Alaska, you get to meet so many people, and just being around these kids. We do a lot of work with younger kids through our camps over the summers, and we do a lot of just different programs with as many kids as we can to try and get our influence out there as much as possible. So getting to work with these kids, getting to meet them, seeing them in their classrooms and whatnot, it's a really unique opportunity. And it's just, Alaska has such a very unique culture, and it's one that I just don't really think I'm ready to leave yet.
One more question down here.
For you two who grew up in Alaska, can you talk a little bit about what your basketball life was like and your life in general in terms of trying to find competition when you were younger and getting noticed and having people fly in to see you, and how was that?
You want to go first? You want me to go?
You want to take that first, Jenna?
Yeah. So I live in a community of 400 people. You can only fly in and out. There is no road system. And so I think I got most exposure by playing AAU basketball, and the community of Galena really supports me a lot. We did a lot of fundraising and stuff to go to basketball camps, because you just can't find the competition, in the community itself. So I did a lot of traveling outside of state, and I think I spent all summer on an AAU team traveling to get that experience.
For me, I'm from Anchorage, so the competition in high school was pretty good growing up, but for the summer, I had to travel to Seattle and stay 2 months out there. I put on the team Tree of Hope, so I had to stay out there and live there and play ball there. Then that's how it helped me get exposure throughout the summers.
We have time for one more question. We'll take this final right here.
You guys are really physical defensively. What kind of problems do you think that can set up for LCU on Monday?
Well, I hope it creates a lot of problems. We play kind of a physical brand of basketball, and I think it's because we're able to play with a great amount of energy, because everyone pretty much stays fresh the whole time if things are going our way. But Lubbock is a long team that can really execute in the half court. They have great length. I think they're skilled at a lot of positions. I think that if we're able to apply the pressure that we want, hopefully it becomes a game against our bench against theirs, and then I like our chances if that's the case. If we can stay disciplined defensively, make some shots to get into our press, and really control the tempo, then I think that's at least good for us.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Joining us on the dais now from Lubbock Christian, we have head coach Steve Gomez, student athletes Nicole Hampton, Kellen Schneider, and Haley Fowler. We'll open with a statement from Coach Gomez, and then we'll take some questions.
What a tremendous opportunity. We appreciate just all the attention. Ever since coming to town, it's just been overwhelming. Thank the NCAA for combining it this year. I know it's been a lot of trouble, obviously more than we deserve, and we feel spoiled. I just hope our girls aren't playing spoiled tomorrow. I hope they'll still play hungry. And just a great opportunity. An incredibly good opponent, and hopefully it'll be 40 good minutes of basketball tomorrow to watch. But I just say thank you for taking the time to give us this honor.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take some questions now. We'll start right here.
Creighton Raps from Hero Sports. Address it to the players. This is your first year of NCAA postseason eligibility after your program's success as an NAIA school. Talk about, I guess, what it means to not only enter the championship game undefeated, but to really set a trail for the future of the Lubbock program.
Do you want to start that, Haley? And then we'll take that.
I think we're all just really thankful for this experience. We sat out 2 years, no postseason, and this being our first year, we're just very thankful for the team that we have and how well and successful we've been, and it's just been a blessing for us.
Yeah, I think it's really cool just to be part of that foundation that got to start off the D2 program. And hopefully we'll come back in a few years and get to see what work Coach Gomez has continued to do. But we're just thankful to be here and to be together as a team enjoying this journey.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Haley and Nicole. It's just really cool to be able to play past our conference season. Like last year, we knew that our last game would be on a certain date, and this year we got to play past that. So it was just really exciting and a really fun experience.
Question down here in the front.
Eddie Robb from the Associated Press. Coach Gomez, can you talk a little bit about that and recruiting and what you did to try to sell the idea of you're not going to be able to play in the postseason, but we're going to be able to play Division II?
Yeah, Rob, that's a great question. We want to build our program not on how far you get to go in the postseason, but on what you do every day, because we don't want the season to be considered a success if you get to play in the national championship game, and if you don't, it's not. We didn't really have to change anything recruiting-wise. We told the girls that were there, this is a situation. We're going to take 2 years, and I offered all of them, if you'd like to go somewhere else and play in the postseason, we'd be glad to help you. But all of them were sold out to the school, to what we stand for as a program. A lot of it's the relationships on the team, because if we were just selling postseason to players, that's going to be pretty empty in the long run. And so what we want to do is build a program that is going to have long-term impact, more than maybe a medal or a trophy. And so it wasn't hard for us. Obviously, the recruiting, NCAA has a bigger footprint, a bigger stability, because the NAI, a lot of teams have transitioned from NAI to D2 over the last number of years. And so it was just a good move by our athletic department, our administration, that solidified our program and given us long-term stability. But as far as what it changed for us from what we did in NAI, the type of kids we recruited, the way we approached the game, nothing really changed. And we don't want to market, hey, we went to the national championship game, so come to our school. We want people to come to our school because they want to be in the environment that we have, as opposed to selling wins and losses.
Question over here. The microphone's on that side, yeah.
Ben Peck, Fox 34 in Lubbock. Coach, kind of on the subject of recruiting, you guys have not only been able to do it with, I guess, you had a chance to recruit a lot of kids from the, Metroplex, from the Houston area if you wanted to, but you've done a lot of this with players specifically from the Lubbock area, and if not that, the West Texas area in general. What has it been like for you to see that success, considering that factor?
I think like probably people around this area, Indiana basketball is obviously known around the world. West Texas girls basketball is known very well also, I would think. The Texas Tech years, how strong they were, and even continually now in the high school ranks, a lot of the teams that win the state championships come from West Texas. And so there's a lot of successful, solid high school programs out there, those coaches that teach fundamental and teach skill and teach teamwork. And so the smart thing for me to do was to get those players and let them play, just to find the good players that know how to play so I don't have to do much and let them play together. And so that's what we've tried to do, is take the best players from our region of the best schools and put them together. Kids that could play at another level, they could play at a D1 level, but hopefully they want to come to our school and be on the team with these teammates.
Any more questions? Yep. We'll start right here in the front.
For the players, can you just describe what this weekend has been like for you in this kind of an environment? What's the coolest thing that's happened to you so far this weekend, and you know, how thankful are you to be at this kind of a venue?
We'll start with Haley.
It's kind of been surreal for all of us just to be here. I don't think anyone on our team has got the opportunity to come to Indianapolis, and so everything here is just kind of like, our eyes are huge and we're like little kids seeing stuff for the first time, and we've had a lot of fun. And I think for me personally, I really enjoyed getting to go to Butler's gym and just the history and that, and getting to shoot around in there and be with the team. That's always fun.
For me, I think my most favorite part has been when we first got here and just getting welcomed at our hotel. We felt so, just welcomed by the NCAA and everyone. And then also it's just cool to be with my teammates because most of them haven't got to do postseason. There's only been 4 of us who have done it. And so just to be with them during this journey and make those memories is something that I'll always cherish.
Yeah, we always have so much fun together on road trips, and we've taken a couple really cool trips this year, but this one has just been so awesome. There's so many cool things to see and so much history here that it's just, like Haley said, it's opened our eyes to so much more than what we've seen, and it's just been really fun to experience it with my team and with my coaches.
We have a question right here. Go ahead.
For Nicole, Alaska-Anchorage obviously has a reputation for high-pressure defense, picking you up full court, and has forced a ton of turnovers this year. Maybe from what you've seen on tape, what is the challenge for girls like yourself and Kelsey, senior guards, to handle that pressure, and how important is that going to be to the outcome of this game?
Yes, I think one of their main points is the pressure defense that they have. And, I actually love when people press because that just gives me more opportunities to find the open teammates and hopefully get transition going. Coach Gomez does a great job of making sure that we all have, 2 to 3 outlet passes. And these 2 right here are actually my go-to girls when I need the middle or someone in the back. So, I think the main thing is just staying calm and not letting the pressure rush to us and just making a solid decision.
Question back here.
Kind of, I guess, to sort of piggyback on what the gentleman from your local paper said. For those of us really not familiar with Lubbock and the Heartland Conference, if the players could just discuss the style of play, because I know you've been known to put up a lot of points, and how does your style of play compare with other teams in the Heartland and, for that matter, the entire South Central region, like the Lone Star and the Rocky Mountain?
You want to start that, Haley?
Sure. We like to control the tempo of the game, and I think we've done a really good job of that this year. We like to kind of get up in people's face, not as much as Alaska, but we like to put the hammer down, I guess you could say, and just go out fast. And I think we get a lot of points when people try to press us. We don't look like we're a fast team, but it's kind of deceiving, I guess.
With our Heartland Conference, towards the end of the season, once we started playing people the second time around, they try to slow it up and use most of the shot clock. So, and we really like to, keep the tempo going. And so Coach Gomez, adjusted a little to that and maybe changed the pace of the game that would get more points scored. So.
Yeah, and then in the South Central region, we are all really excited to see how we matched up with some of those teams. And I think that we did a really good job of executing the game plan that Coach Gomez gave us, and just coming out, trying to go 1-0 today like Coach Gomez always tells us to do, and just playing without fear and playing to win instead of not to lose.
Question in the middle here.
Obviously, this tournament this year, bringing all the divisions together, I guess this could be for any of you guys, but have you had the chance to meet up with UConn, considering how it all started back in the exhibition, and I guess what was that like?
Luckily, we didn't meet him on the court this time. We got to see him at the Friday night event. You get to see him. We didn't do a lot of mingling and hanging out. I think some of our girls took pictures with him. Again, like they did the first time we got a chance to see him. I think this morning we're walking into eat, and they were walking into Panera Bread. So there's obviously some brushes with them. And we're huge fans of what they've done. I mean, they started off our year in such a great way by beating us by 56 points, and I appreciate that so much because it was the best drubbing we've ever taken. And it sort of got us off to a good start of learning how to compete really hard with the best. And so, again, we'd love to. I hope we're not starstruck and want googly eyed at everybody we see. They were competitors. They're a great team. We want to watch them and succeed tonight because they're excellent, and we want to try to be excellent at our level. But yeah, we haven't had a chance to do much interactive with them. But it's sort of neat to know, hey, we played them.
Question right here in the front.
Coach, how important was it that you guys played that Florida Southern game in the Elite Eight and had such a close game, something that you guys really hadn't experienced much this year?
Yeah, I think both of our teams have won on average margin of victory is close to 29 points, I think, Alaska and ours. And so over the course of the year, there's not a lot of time to work on end-of-game situations. You do it in practice, but practice just cannot simulate what a game is like. And so our last conference game at home, it was a 2-point game midway through the fourth quarter that we won by, I think, 11. So that was a good experience. But then that Florida Southern game was a game we just were just sort of in quicksand the whole game, never just getting to do what we do. So it was really gratifying to win a game that we didn't play well against a really good team that I thought they played a very solid game against us. But we were able just to gut it out. And it was more of a character gutty win than it was an executional win. So it was good for us. In the next game, I think we played a little more loose and relaxed. And I'm just hoping tomorrow we'll just come and have fun and play.
We have time for one more question. Final one right here.
Coach, they kind of talked about it with Nicole earlier, but Alaska obviously is going to be very high pressure on defense. What have you talked about, and what was your message to the girls this week to maybe sustain some of that?
What we just have to do is make a solid decision with the ball. Don't be in habit pass mode where you just throw it where you think it's usually going to go, because they're going to take away those plays. And it's going to be staying on balance but being aggressive. We don't want to become passive and careful. We want to be aggressively solid and keep the game moving. I mean, we like to play fast. We're not fast. You've seen these girls. They're not fast physically. But mentally, they think pretty quickly, and they work together quickly. And that's what we need to do tomorrow is really have everybody where they need to be making the play. There's not going to be a lot of margin of error, and so we're going to have to be really sharp. So I'd say just the ball handling decision is a big thing, and then setting our defense, transitionally defensively, not letting them open the court up and making sure we're set on defense. But they do such a good job of it. That's what they've done all year.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, ladies.
Appreciate it.